elderly, and persons with disabilities. It's time to choose our leaders. Let's show up and participate in the Special Interest Group elections. Starting June through August this year. Your vote, your voice. My vote, my voice. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Electoral Commission.
Youth of Purpose.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You're welcome to Youth of Purpose. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. This is U24 Television, your national youth development and education channel. We provide a platform for all young people to be able to talk about everything under the sun concerning us, but also everything concerning Uganda, the East African region, and Africa as a whole. Tonight, I welcome you to this maiden episode of Youth of Purpose, where we shall be speaking to everything that is happening in this country, talk of current affairs, but also issues that are to do with development of this country. Yesterday, we celebrated Ugandan Matters, and it was an exciting day for the faith-based religions, to talk of the Catholics, to talk of the Christians, to talk of the Muslims, who also actually do celebrate the Matters Day here in Uganda. When we talk of Uganda Matters, first, usually what came into our minds was so much about the Catholics, the Anglicans, but you need to know that also the Muslims were some of those people that died for their faith. I welcome you this evening to talk everything concerning Uganda Matters and how that does definitely affect the social and economic impact that it has on Uganda, but also when it comes to culture. How can we be able to, maximize the benefits that come with us having the Uganda Matters? Someone was telling me here when we were, prepping for the show that Uganda actually doesn't understand that we have gold in the Uganda Matters. That's to do with the tourism, but also we want to be able to look at the faith that comes with these Uganda Matters. What impact does it have in as far as growing the faith of Ugandans? And tonight in the studio, to start with, I have Comrade Nimrod. Welcome to Youth of Purpose. Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Thank you, Comrade Ivan. My name is Nimrod Kakai. I'm from Namisindwa district. By God's grace, I am the youth chairperson of NRM from my district. Glad to be here on this maiden Youth of Purpose show. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimrod. Mugisha, welcome to Youth of Purpose. Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Hello viewers, my name is Mugisha Emanzi, a Pan-Africanist, a youth, and a lover of children. I'm glad to be here sharing my views on the topical discussion of the day, and I'm very excited about this conversation today. Thank you.
Thank you. And next to Mugisha is Comrade Ndugu Hafashimana Hasima. Welcome to Youth of Purpose. Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Thank you, Ndugu Ivan, but also the viewers. It is on record that my name hasn't changed. It remains as it was yesterday, but also today like it will be tomorrow. The name, I am Hafashimana Asimwe. I come from Kisoro, and I happen to be the chairperson of the young people for the NLM Youth League of my sub-county Nyakabande. Otherwise, I'm glad that we shall be able to share our thoughts on today's Youth of Purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also to mention, I represent the people of Ntungamo. So on this set, we have the people of Namisindwa represented. Mugisha, I don't know which people you're representing.
I'm representing Africans.
Africa. As always, the Pan-Africanist in you comes out. Great having you, gentlemen. And to start with you, Mugisha, if you can kindly introduce to us Uganda Matters.
Well, thank you very much, our host, Ndugu Tumkunde. By the way, I would like to give you your flowers. You've done really a good job at having young people come and discuss and collect all their ideas. It's not very many people that are doing that, so thank you very much for that opportunity. Well, yesterday we celebrated the Uganda Matters Day. In Uganda, it was a public holiday. And we had very many people that thronged Namugongo to celebrate the day, and it went by and large very successfully. We had the president at the Anglican shrine, and we had the vice president at the Catholic shrine, and they all had a wonderful message for the people of Uganda. We also had different people from across the world that came to participate in this now global event almost. And it's very refreshing to see that by the year, the number of pilgrims is increasing, and I think this sets Uganda in a very good position to market itself, market its culture, market its people, and most importantly, market its flora and fauna. So I think this is a very good opportunity for us as a country to harness and develop as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mugisha. Nimrod, what does Uganda Matters Day mean to you, and actually how did you celebrate it?
Thank you, Ivan. One, I congratulate this government for having successfully hosted and ensured the security of the people and their property, million that came from all parts of the world to celebrate Uganda Matters. To me, Uganda Matters, since it was gazetted by this government, that on every 3rd June, we come together to celebrate those who are actually young people of purpose, that chose their faith and religion over intimidation and over bad governance. To me, it's not just a day about 3rd June. It is a story of young people in 1879, 1877, that chose to say, this is what we believe in, this is what we want, and nothing will deter us from the faith, the purpose we want to achieve. And they chose to die for what they stood for. So to me, it is a message. It's a reflection. How did I celebrate such a day? It's a day that I sit to reflect on my values as a young person. Mm-hmm. It's a day I sit to reflect on my plans, on what I stand for.
Do you have something you can die for?
Yes, like my values.
Wow.
The values I hold, I can die for them. Mm-hmm. Because that's what defines me. I ask God and pray every time that we get to know our callings and our purpose in life at early age, so that we nurture them. I believe I'm lucky. I know my purpose. I know my calling in this world, and I can die for that. So, one, I congratulate the government who ensured that this day is celebrated peacefully, and so many people came together. Secondly, to me, Uganda Matters Day is goal that we have at hand. Why do I say it is goal we have at hand? World over, not only in Uganda, people move from one space to another for search of spiritual satisfaction. There are those that move to India who believe in that. So many from this country go to Mecca. And actually, as we speak, millions are in Mecca for their spiritual mission. To ensure that they fulfill their spiritual desire. Yesterday I was looking at a man called Ahmed from Egypt. He was saying that all his life he has always eagered and tried to go to Mecca. As I was seeing Ugandan people as well on media, speaking why they come, to move from, you are moving from Bali, 350 kilometers to Namugongo, with a mission of your spiritual satisfaction, praying to God, because by nature, human beings have both the body and the soul to feed. So to me, it's a goal we have at hand. I think that Ugandan Matters, from the site where it was gazetted, to the area, the Kampala metropolitan, to the country as Uganda, it's goal at hand. I hope that our government, that I believe in, can give it a little more attention in terms of telling the story of the Ugandan Matters. When you read this story, it is a story that I think we don't have anywhere in the world, whereby there are people, when the region had just come here in 1844, by the Hamiltons, just over 50 years, someone says, I can die for this. Many Muslims, when Albin came here in 1943, but just 40 years later had built a team that felt that they can die for that. Muslims, Christians, Anglicans. So I think that moving forward, 10 years to come, we can build Ugandan matters beyond just that June. Because it's just one day that's gazetted. But this is a story we live every day. So we need to tell a story that Ugandans can actually come to Namugongo every day of their life. Monday to Monday, month to month, year in, year out. To come and read the story, to come and be inspired, to come and learn from those that chose that. So I think it was a good day. Generally, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
I congratulate the security teams that ensured that we are okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a great sort of introduction. And as I come to you, Hafashimana, watching your fellow Mufumbira walk from Chisoro to Kampala because of faith. I also saw, for example, Honorable Mwishe Francis walking with his people from Buweju up to Namugongo. What does that speak to you as a young person?
Thank you, Comrade Ivan. From the perspective of politics, politicians have used the day, I think ever than before, as a tool for political mobilization. When you see the Honorable Mwisho Francis from Uweju footing from Uweju to Kampala, he's simply identifying himself as one of them, that he's a believer, but also indirectly he's trying to show them that he needs their support, because that is from one of us, is part of us. I also saw, because I think the other day I was heading to Nakasongora, I saw people using the northern route, Arongo, Ruweru, Nakasongora, Mijera, as you head to Kiriandongo. People were in reflectors of honorable members of parliament. I saw some of them in reflectors for the Honorable Nyamutoro and other MPs aspiring. So I think it has been looked at as a tool to mobilize their voters, especially those that were traveling from wherever they're coming from to Namugongo. But also looking at of course we talked about the Bafumbira. Many of them have been coming from Kisoro, coming from Busanza, Bunagana, and all through. They show their commitment and sacrifice that, we recognize the fact that we have people that died because of their faith. We have the 23 for the side of the Catholic community, but also the 22, then the 23 who were the Anglicans. And I think their convergence each and every year, especially especially yesterday that worked for over a week, over 2 weeks, I think it's a symbol that they are identifying themselves as people who could in fact do the same, most probably. So I think it's another idea to tell the viewers that in fact this Martyrs' Day is a symbol of Pan-Africanism. And I think a fellow Pan-Africanist maybe will later on shed some little bit of light to show how, because I am aware that by 1964 it was canonized in the Vatican. So it is celebrated all the way over. And when something is already recognized by the headquarters, especially for the Roman Catholic Church, my friend, it is a pride that Uganda has on a global level. So I want to say that the Martyrs' Day has been also a platform for us Uganda to trade our culture, especially looking at how the Baganda were performing in their local languages, how people were emerging on from all over the countries. But also, it is not just a religious ritual. It is something that has bound all religions, I could say, that identify themselves with faith and sacrifice. Because a case in point that you see the Bafumbira were coming through, the Bachiga, the Bagwere, the people from Kanakapiripiri, people coming from Guru, the Acholi people, the Rangis, and but also we had internationals coming through. People were traveling from Ethiopia, people were coming from Kenya as usual, they are coming from whatever. I think it has also helped us as Ugandans to make money, therefore boosting our economy. Because when you look at people, I have my Bafumbira friends who are vendors and hawkers. They made some money, but also the hotel owners in terms of accommodation. So I think economically, Uganda has also been able to benefit, especially accommodating the pilgrims. But also the other thing I think I can't forget, especially for this very phase, is that we have seen religious leaders, but also political leaders using the same platform to call for peace. We're heading for general elections 2026. NRM has just been doing the structure kind of elections, and I think also it has also been a platform for the leaders like us and others to call upon love and unity. But also the idea of identity and national unity. It has also combined people who are, of course, Anglicans, Catholics, but also you know, these kind of born-again Christians, you know, all those ones, the Pentecostals, they come together, and I think it's a day that each of them honor. But why do we talk about this? It's because these 45 Ugandans chose not to denounce their belief, their faith that they had as far as religion was concerned. Mm-hmm. And I think and I think you and I, but also the viewers, could equally understand why it was important for them to know why Kabaka Mwanga the second was saying you must not believe in the religion, you must not believe in Jesus, for example, or you must believe in me. But they chose to still stand by their values. And I think Comrade Nimrod was very clear when he talked about that he could easily die for his values. And I think that's something that he leads us today, but also Ugandans far and beyond should emulate such good examples of having that sacrifice for that you stand for, because our values reflect what we do. Our values, in fact, reflect our characters. So I think for now I could wrap it up to that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ndugu Hafashiman. To pick from your words, the Uganda Matters being Ugandan pride, and as I put this to Mugisha, socially, culturally, do you think the Uganda Matters Day really does speak to what the person who is coming, traveling, 500 kilometers, traveling from outside countries, both from Africa and globally? Someone is traveling to come and see where the people that were willing to die for what they believe in, to die for their faith, where do these people come from? What kind of people are they? They want to see the environment. They want to see us, the people from whom they came. And my question is, from the arrangement that we are having right now at the Uganda Matters, do you think the arrangement speaks to that if I'm, if I'm a religious tourist who has come for that, what I find to Namugongo will be able to speak directly to me in those terms?
Well, thank you for that question. That question is very multifaceted because 3rd June, being a public holiday in Uganda and ordained by the Vatican, it by default put Uganda in the global religious martyrdom limelight, right? This is almost as big a thing to Uganda as it is big, I think, to Saudi Arabia, where we have pilgrims that go to Mecca for Hijjah. And if you look at the way it's done in Saudi Arabia, they've built a social cultural philosophy around that pilgrimage, right? Because Mecca is a city just like any other random city. But every time you hear Mecca, the first thing that comes to your head is that pilgrimage, right? So that is where they've gotten it right. And I think, to respond to your question, that is where we as a people of Uganda need to consolidate most of our effort to have 3rd June Matters Day the center of a lot of activities, social, cultural, political, and other things. For example, when the Pope, the first Pope to visit Uganda was in 1963, and they canonized the Matters. That was Pope John Paul VI. Then in 1993, there I was alive. We even waved at all the planes that were flying. Bye, Papa. The Pope came. That was Pope Paul II. Not much was documented around that, besides the religious aspect. And in 2007, when the Pope was coming, that was, I think, Pope Benedict or Francis? Must be Francis. when he was coming, there was a lot of infrastructure development that was deliberately done to host the event. That was the time when we saw that Kira Namugongo Road seriously being paved and tarmacked. Okay? So that goes on to show you the little implication that this big day has and the, what we call the economies of scale that it has. It is a day that we celebrate the martyrs that died for their conviction of their faith. But as we are celebrating, there are people that have come to, one, see the holy site, both sites for the Anglicans and the Catholics, even for the Muslims. We're also having people, what we call the local tourists, us. There are people who come to Namugongo stroke to Kampala for the very first time because they've come to Namugongo. And usually it's a very awakening experience. So to answer your question of the culture, Uganda being a country with different religious denominations and different tribes, I think Martyrs' Day as a day in itself is one of those few days that galvanize all of Ugandans together. Can I tell you what the other days are? The days when Uganda Cranes has a football game.
Wow.
We all put our political, ethnic, and all that on the side and we go and support our country. The other time that we all come like that is maybe when Uganda has a representative in an event outside Uganda, say Manya Big Brothers, America Got Talent. When you have a representative there, all of us put all our differences aside by default somehow, and we always push for that agenda to go. So personally, I think if now that General Museveni said they're going to earmark 4 billion shillings, 2 apiece for the Catholics and the Anglicans in the budget, to me this reflects an awakening in the powers that be that, hey guys, wait a minute. Actually, if we put some little money here to support the churches that are organizing these events, it will become, one, smoother, two, there will be more improvement in the services that will be delivered, because this event is not marketing the Ugandan matters alone, it is marketing Uganda as a country. Because like you said, if we have tourists that are coming, religious tourists that are coming to Uganda for the Martyrs' Day, we are benefiting as a country, we are having what we call the faith-based tourists. So how do we also tap into that quote-unquote gold, that market? We've been having tourists that come to see our gorillas, who come to see our natural water bodies, which is very nice. But now those that come to see things attached to our religion, that's a very sensitive niche that we need to capture and capitalize on.
And if you can, to add on that, do you think, a pilgrim who has just come to Namugongo can be able to spend maybe extra 2, 3, 4 days in Uganda after 3rd June?
Yes, and that is the whole thinking, that as we are gearing for the 3rd of June, can we have ministries and agencies, for example, Uganda Tourism Board, UTB, can they align their modalities to ensure that these tourists that come, okay, they spend an extra week and spend at least $10,000 to $15,000 per head. When they finish with the 3rd June, can they go and trek the gorillas in Bwindi Impenetrable Forest? Can they climb the Mount Margarita, the Mount Rwenzori, and see the peak of Mount Rwenzori? Can they go and see the source of the Nile, among others? So it's a question of aligning our national priorities along this, what I want to call a main attractant. And I think it's very possible now that we are galvanizing all our intellect, all our resources, and our efforts towards that.
Thank you so much, Emanzi. We are speaking the Martyrs' Day celebrations and the social cultural impetus it adds to Uganda. This show, Youth of Purpose, is proudly brought to you by the Electoral Commission, and we remind you that the elections for special interest groups are coming up soon. I'll be sharing you with the details later. Keep it U24. We are still discussing the Martyrs' Day celebrations. We'll be right back.
Youth of Purpose.
Youth workers on your wallet.
Youth, elderly, and persons with disabilities. It's time to choose our leaders. Let's show up and participate in the special interest group elections. Starting June through August this year. Your vote, your voice. My vote, my voice. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Electoral Commission.
Youth of Purpose.
Don't miss on U24.
Now, to be honest with you, we are currently living in the best time to ever get rich online. And well, I assume that's why you're watching this video. Now, to some of you who may not know who I am, well, I'm Daniel Ashweze, a 24-year millionaire day trader, and I've been trading close to 5 years. I have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars entirely through trading. And not to that, I've been able to teach thousands of students to make money trading. Now, my purpose of doing this video is to teach you on how to start trading completely from scratch. I'll show you what to do straight from the beginning, and I'll also take you through the intermediate, and lastly, how you can actually be able to make money. And by the way, I'll also show you on how you can start with as less as $50. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with our course.
Get your favorite health tips right here on U24. Maintain your kidney by drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water each day. This can be in form of soup, tea, water, cooked grains, and boiled vegetables.
Everyone, my name is Erica Marunji, and welcome back to Be Inspired by Erica. I hope you're fine. I hope your family members are fine too. So today we're gonna talk about being kind to everyone. Please, friends, be kind to everyone. Life can be hard and lonely, and if you're able to spread some goodness and positivity, do it without hesitation. Make people's lives better and make everything a little bit brighter. Surely, that's a good thing to do if the Lord has given you the capacity to do it. So let's stop trying to be hard to others, because we don't know who will lift us up tomorrow. Some people are going through a lot, so the least we can do for them is be kind to them. Do to others what you wish them to do to you. Life is like a circle, so please be mindful. What goes around comes around. Thank you for listening to me. Have a blessed week ahead, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. They all come in the names of Erica Marunji. God bless you. Much love.
Don't miss on U24.
Entrepreneurs Hub, giving you a deep and unique insight into agribusiness, services, ICT and innovation, industrialization, and so much more. Entrepreneurs Hub, growing your small, medium, and large business entity. With yours truly, Sandra Kahunde.
Hi, my name is Doreen Tuhirire, coming to you from Be Money Wiser, and we're going to be bringing to you the hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser by Mrs. T. Tilda Nabandra. We're going to be running this hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser on U24 television. Don't miss out.
U24.
Youth of Purpose.
Welcome back. You're still watching Youth of Purpose with me, Ivan Tumkunde. We are talking the Uganda Matters celebration and the social cultural impetus to Uganda. We want to be able to understand basically what are the Uganda Matters, what does the celebration mean to us, what does it actually add to us socially, economically, and how can we be able to maximize the benefits that comes with that, to do with religious tourism. And as young people, what do we learn from the values and being able to believe to the extent of dying for what you believe in? And in studio, I have Nimrod, I have Mugisha, and I have Ndugu Hafashimana, who are trying to help us go in depth into
Telling
this
of the martyr's
discussion.
story
And as
has
we went
many
into the
gaps
break,
and loopholes.
we are trying to compare and contrast what we might call foreign religion vis-a-vis African tradition, or what we call our own culture. We call it our culture, and what we use to understand in terms of faith, and how we use to see God, and how we use to actually understand when it comes to issues of faith and believing. And I know this is very a passionate kind of conversation, and I know Ndugu Mugisha would like to get started on it in terms of giving us a contrast. People, Ugandans, being able to say, I will die for this that I believe in, this that was introduced to me, and they have the guts to say, this is it, I will die for my religion. What does that speak to you as an African?
Well, thank you very much for that question. As an African, what that speaks to me is that a human being is but only a subject of continuous information consumption, that they can actually change their mind. This is what I mean. Between the year 1849 to maybe 1950, almost 40 years, we still had, yes indeed, the religions in place. But we, as African people, there are still some traditional religions that our people were practicing, because we knew God in our own African way. So for the martyrs, for them to die because of a conviction that they had, to me it reflects three things. One, the aspect of loyalty does not come with coercion, because with all those martyrs that were killed, they had the freedom and the luxury of denouncing their faith to save their lives, but they didn't. So that means that they were so convinced that the idea they were dying for was real, even when all odds were against them. Now, just to take you a little behind, my brother, that is to me the same conviction that a group of 47 young men had with 27 guns. They had the same conviction to go and die if that is what it takes for their ideas to come to life. And this group was led by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So it is not a new thing for Ugandans to die for a cause that they believe in. Mm-hmm. And now the question comes back to us, the young people. What is the cause? What is that ideal? Or what is that conviction that we have, as especially the young people, that we are willing to pay the ultimate price for? Because all the examples that we have from the martyrs, citing from the example of the patron saint of the youth, Aloysius Gonzaga, to this other group that went to defy all odds in 1981. Those two groups, if we used that example, I think it is a good point of reflection for us as people to know that if you have an idea that you are willing to die for, it better be worth the cause. Mm-hmm. Because even in this day and age, we still have very many foreign, or rather alien ideologies concepts, practices that are coming to us as young people, more so in this age of technology, but how best are we to sieve the right concepts that are adaptable to our African settings and way of life vis-a-vis what is trending globally, which might be counterproductive to us as a people, our values, and our culture. So I think that is a point that we have to reflect on. But most importantly is that we have the faith that we know some people have done it before, and we too can die it before. It's just a question of finding that gem that we're willing to die for as a demographic dividend.
Thank you, Mugisha, and thank you for those who are following us online. We're streaming live on YouTube, but you can also follow us and send in your feedback right on X, formerly Twitter. Send in your feedback and your comments in as far as the celebrations of the Uganda Matters Day is concerned. And what do you think us as young people can be able to learn from that? On YouTube, we have Wataka Abraham. He said, send my regards to my youth chairperson, Namisindo District, Honorable Kakai Nimrod. Dave Masters, I'm watching you Asimwe from Banda, Kampala. Alvin Odama says he's following from Maracha, West Nile. Asante Ndugu Nimrod, our son of the equator. Burunji says, greetings team, well done. Burombi Sam says, great for me, my chairman, Bugisu Youth Caucus chairman. Nimrod, it seems Nimrod has a great following right here. And I come to you straight, Nimrod. Yes. When you look at Namgongo as a town, do you think really as Uganda and also government, do you think we've done enough to make sure that we make these people, the pilgrims, to spend an extra coin when they're at Namgongo, but also to speak to the Uganda matters that immediately when you move outside, leave out being inside the shrines, does the outside environment speak to the Uganda matters?
Well, you know, I'm very passionate about tourism and showcasing and telling a story about our beautiful country. Uganda being a part of Africa, we are defined by so many things. But one of the things we are defined with is our culture, that we're known for, our people, what they are known for. When you look at the whole sites, the Anglican site, the Catholic site, the Muslim site, and Namgongo as a community, yes, I give credit to the church leadership that has tried to ensure that the place is organized, and the government has invested huge sums of money to see that inside is a little bit organized to accommodate numbers and showcase story. But I think we have a long journey to go. When you look at Christian or faith-based tourism all over the world, in the history of tourism, it's the third most attraction, that people leave one state to another because of faith. Why? This is a conviction people live with. People love to go for things they are convinced about easily. You don't need to tell them about anything, but that's why someone can move from Soro to Namgongo 500 kilometers just because it has a conviction. So I think government, one, Uganda Tourism Board has not done enough to tell the story of Uganda matters. But secondly, I think government should do a deliberate move to modernize and set an art of an area called Namgongo. Namgongo as a community, I'm happy I reside in that area. But as a member of the area, I think there's a lot to be done. When you saw what happened during this period, traffic was a mess. The time came when actually even those who were on foot could be convenienced. That the roads are so narrow, the pavements are not worked on. So all those challenges, I think that Namgongo can be modernized into a state of an attraction. So one, I think Uganda Tourism Board, they leave this country to other countries to tell stories about our mountains, to tell stories about our rivers, to tell stories about our flora and fauna. they don't tell stories about our faith. They don't tell stories about our culture so much. Yes, maybe they do, but to what level? But I think one of the reasons they don't tell is maybe they don't want people to come and see some of the mess that is in the area.
But why wouldn't you work on a place where you know you have 2 million people coming together every year?
So I think that Uganda Tourism Board, I appeal, and I hope this message can reach to them, that we have gold at hand. We can attract these tourists from January to January. It is about 3rd June. But how organized are we to tell the story of the Uganda Matters? It is a beautiful story that young people chose to die for what they believe in. It's something we should... Does
Uganda Tourism Board have what to promote? Maybe if we say the Ministry of Works, if it did the infrastructure that can attract private investors, because like hotels, it doesn't have to be government to come and put up hotels and stuff.
You see, for you to get private investors to come and invest money, there must be an incentive. Those are the people, who come and spend those dollars there. Now, for you to get the people here, you must tell the story. The reason why you have an influx of people in other parts like Ginger every time is because even here in the background, someone can see the Nile Bridge. Yeah? That's telling a story. As simple as that. Someone sees a bridge and they want to come and see.
But go to the hotels in Ginger.
Yes, but no. What I'm trying to say is that you must first tell the story. People get to know about this, the real story of Uganda Matters. So that when people are endlessly available, then there's someone who have a reason to have a 4-star hotel.
They'll create the pressure and the demand.
Yes, it's about the demand. If the demand is there, the supply definitely will be there. If Namugongo has an influx of 5 million people every year, there's a reason for government will be forced to ensure that there's a state of art of facilities that accommodate those numbers. But if we have only 3rd June, definitely you can understand that security, the government will only spend money, 2 billion shillings, to organize that one day.
In short, what you're saying is that if all that is done, the promotion and the marketing, we don't have to wait for 3rd June, but we'll keep having people flocking in to the shrines.
I'm telling you that Mecca is having people endless. Yes? India has people for, for their faith pilgrimage.
Same with China.
Yes. You go to Israel. Yeah? You know how many Ugandans live here to go to Israel? To Jerusalem. To learn about that, to satisfy their souls, their spiritual souls. So I think that when we go out there and tell stories in the simplest way about those that sacrificed, the 45 that chose, the young people that stood their ground and said, you are our king, but you're not our God. We have what we believe in, and we have a purpose, and we can die for it. We tell the world this beautiful story. We go from country to the another. I think we can have these people come in this country, in and out daily. Because when you go there on other days apart from 3rd June, do you know the people you found there? Ugandan school kids.
Leave out other days. My question is, even on 3rd June, if you move outside the shrines, what is outside?
Exactly.
If we talk about the culture we're speaking out, does the culture, the performance that will be outside the shrine speak to us as Ugandans? I would wish the representation of all Ugandan tribes to be out there in terms of competition, in terms of the dances that will be happening, in terms of the decoration and all that.
Yes, as I was saying, those who have got a chance to visit our neighbors around here, I've seen how they have organized their cultural sites. It is so nice in a way that you can go there every time you feel like you want to relax. Yeah? It is so organized in a way that you can never have a problem to access. So the issue one, like our friends, my fellow panelists were talking here, that it's one of the only activity that can bring all Ugandans from walks of life, regardless of my tribe, regardless of my political affiliation, to speak. That's why here I can speak about this passionately. Because I believe as a country, 56 tribes, we can be united by speaking things like Uganda Matters.
Sure.
So if we give it our best, organize it, when you get out of, you see the infrastructure around in Namugongo and the area, it's not impressive. It's not impressive. I know that government, the leadership of Kampala, capital city, the Uganda Tourism Board can collaborate with all sister organizations to ensure that we build a state of an art of area, we tell our story, we inspire people, we bring in those who want to do private investments in the area, so that next 10 years, Ugandan can earn a better shilling from this story.
Amazing. I'll give each one of you 1 minute to be able to wrap up and share with us what you think young people should be able to pick from the story of the Uganda Matters, but most especially what we spoke about, the values, the things that we do stand for, and how we can utilize that to transform our country, Uganda. Starting with you, Hafashimana.
These people spoke more than 4 rounds. I'm speaking for the second round.
Time runs so fast.
And that is not a complaint, but rather a justification to make my message, my thoughts very clear to the viewers. Where purpose isn't known, abuse is inevitable. But I think these matters, the 45 of them, wanted to define their purpose. And I think as young people, we have something to emulate. I have been at the Uganda Democracy Academy, whereby Comrade Kakai has been a fellow. But I think we have been taught that religion and the socio-political association are inseparable because they influence each other. And I think that's why the president, the head of the state, meets the Interreligious Council, goes ahead to meet the Uganda Joint Christian Council and all of those. Why? Because these have a political play when it comes to leadership. And I think it's another call that the young people today, but also not just the young people, everybody, the Bakade, the old men, the old women, the young people, even those that are just outgrowing, I think it's important upon each of us to ensure that we emulate good examples from the matters. But I think a friend, this friend just talked about something to do with getting Namgongo much more organized. That by the moment you reach at the junction that goes to Chira, and the one that comes back to Chireka, you can know that I have reached a holy place. There is another faith, the faith of unity in Bunyoro, in Kagadi. There is a healing city. That the moment you reach there, you see something at the hill. You may have reached something very, and I think it has also been a site that people have gone to in terms of tourist attraction, but finding also out what takes place there. But also, to just cut the long story short, the fact is that this matter has died with a lot of things that they never left with us. And I think it's incumbent upon each of us to ensure that what have we done before we die, whether it is because of our values or accident or anything. People have died with songs they never sang. People have died with books they never wrote. People have died with cars they never bought, the ideas. That's why they say the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because people who are there left without accomplishing all the desired things they had. So I think the good example that I and them that we can extract from this kind of pilgrimage to Namgongo, but also other pilgrimages all over the world that are Christian-based, that are Muslim-based and all that. I think the idea is that how do we remain on track amidst predicaments?
Thank you.
How do we keep moving, and how do we encourage, but also inspire those around us, those that will be our descendants and onwards. But I think to just sum it all for now, I think I could be able to encourage the young people, the old, but also the young, to have the idea of dying for what they believe in. The sacrifices, the discipline, the integrity, being virtuous men and women to ensure that we create and craft the kind of, a desired country that we deserve. But also at a global perspective, because it's not just about Uganda, except that Uganda benefits this because it has been an epicenter of the spiritual renewal and all that. So I think for now, without any further ado,
thank you,
to the friends.
Mugisha?
Thank you so much. Personally, to me, this is a very big challenge because on top of celebrating the Matters Day in its independently, I think we should attach other important milestones that we have knocked off as a country to celebrate it in unison, not independently, but to create a spirit within us, the Ugandan people, especially us, the Ugandan youth, being the second biggest population in the world after Niger, I think if we got a common rallying ground to build our quote-unquote center of gravity, using the example of the Ugandan Martyrs, it will help us, metamorph from this conclave ideological, social, religious, partitions that we are all headed towards, and that does not provide solidarity. Building a country, a nation state, needs to have something that galvanizes us around.
Thank you.
And I think the Uganda Matters Day is a very good story to ride along as a flagship.
Thank you, Mugisha. Nimrod.
Thank you. I take this opportunity to thank all the viewers, mostly my people from Namisindwa, who gave me the trust and the vote to represent them, and also those from Mugiso at large, who also gave me the trust and the vote to represent them. Thank you so much. The story of those that believed and had a purpose inspires all of us. My message to you, my brothers and sisters, young and old, ask yourself, do what you believe in now, can you die for it? And if you die for it, how shall we remember you, or how shall we celebrate you? As we go through the week, I hope we reflect on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nimrod. Thank you, Mugisha. Thank you, Afashimana, for being a part of this conversation tonight. Definitely, every Wednesday, 9 p.m., we shall be here to inspire you and speak everything concerning us as young people, but also issues concerning Uganda, current affairs, and what is our perspective as the young people. Kindly keep the conversation going online on YouTube. I still see people sending in their comments. LTN Technologies UG sends their greetings to Nimrod, and same with Calvin. He's sending his regards to Nimrod, and we have Sandy Pius. Well done. Best regards to my brother, Mr. Simwe, and many more. Shivana Simire, nice to see Emanzi over here. What is the comment here? Yes, a lot of knowledge. Thank you so much, Asimwe, for sending in your comments, and many more that are sending in. We shall continue the conversation on X. Kindly send in your comments such that we can keep this conversation going. This show is proudly brought to you by the Election Commission. I want to remind you as young people, those who are of age, please make sure that you go and register to get national IDs. Those who have their IDs expired, please go and renew at your nearest center. We want young people fully involved in the forthcoming elections. We don't want to be, doing mobilization. You do mobilization for 100,000 people and you only find 20,000 that have IDs to be able to vote. We keep making a lot of noise. We have crowds, but as young people, our voices are not heard because we don't take some things serious. Go and get those national IDs because they are the ones you will be using when the general elections come and you're going to vote. Encourage your friends, those who haven't gotten the IDs yet, to make sure that they go and register, and those who have them expired, get them renewed. And we prepare for the forthcoming special interest group elections. I thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. I'm grateful that you spare time to always be here all evenings to be part of U24, your national youth development channel. I thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good night.
Youth of Purpose.